Hey guys, welcome back to the Purr podcast. This is Cara Schmidt.
This is McKinley Fourth.
And this is episode 10.
Yes.
This is going to be a vent and then a Lent.
Yay!
We're going to vent about our week and then talk about an update about our Lent fasting.
Yes. So life updates, because I know that's what our followers really look for.
Our two followers really just love hearing about McKinley
Us.
and me.
Yeah.
Is that correct grammar? Is it?
It's McKinley and I, but pop off. It's not like Baker watches these.
I was gonna say McKinley and Elliot, but I was like,
Name drop.
We can't name drop. I'll bleep that
out. We would never name drop.
We've never been known to name drop.
On episode 9, how much editing did you do? Did you actually do anything?
Well, it went from I think it was 50 minutes to
half an hour.
However long it is now. So, I did edit. I mostly just cut stuff. I don't really add stuff. I don't really move stuff around or add sound effects or anything. I just cut out anything that sounds weird. So
yeah, go from that one episode you did where
that one over edited episode was kind of iconic.
It is iconic. But
anyway, how was your past couple months?
Past couple months?
It's been a while since
we just got back from spring break. And that was fun. I went to Charleston, South Carolina.
So how was that trip? How was
it was
not having school for 9 days?
It was really great, guys. I recommend flying across the country and almost missing your plane on the way back and thinking you would be stuck in Seattle. Because we were already gonna end up coming home at like 2 o'clock in the morning, which we did. We ended up getting home on time. But for a second there, the plane got delayed and we were like, oh my gosh, we have 6 minutes to get to our connecting flight. It's not gonna happen. But we did end up making it. I got to run through the airport, though. So
running through the airport is such a core memory.
It is.
And a universal experience.
Running through the airport is just, so... It's kind of so fun because everyone knows that,
everyone knows why you're running.
Everyone knows why you're running, so everyone, respects you. I ran past someone, I'm like, oh, sorry, and he was all good, and then, one person was like, you guys got this, because I left my parents in the dust. Grayson and I were running for the gate, because we had to get on one of those trains, too, that take you across the airport. So I was,
so fun.
I was, fighting people. I was let me on the train.
Oh my gosh. When the universal experience of your backpack flapping and then you're rolling suitcases falling off track and you're it's spinning out everywhere and you're just where is this going?
Because mine had a wonky wheel, so I was just dragging it. It wouldn't roll.
That's fun.
But so it's good memories now, but in the moment I was I do not want to be stuck at this airport, because that's being stuck at an airport is horrible.
Yeah, and there's nothing to do. Even if you're doing something fun, even if you're on social media or something, which we aren't allowed to do.
Yes.
Well, we can talk about how our fasting went after. But
yeah, we'll see how this goes. Ask Car about the reel she sent me yesterday. I think you sent me ones yesterday. Did you?
Yeah, because I still do 15 minutes a day.
Yeah.
So, which I think is actually I love it because. My sister actually recently I guess we could segue into Lent, because my sister recently was complaining to my mom, I hate the length of Lent because I like the idea of giving something up for 20 days, but then by 30, you're kind of well, I've already gone through the process of eliminating this, so now I just want to do it again, or I want to eat again, or whatever it is. And I actually disagree, because I think I really like that now it's a habit for me, also, doing 15 minutes of social media a day is actually really nice because I still get to text people or message people, and it's enough time to still watch reels or check up on things, but not so much time that you really need more.
I think the problem with Lent I've seen is the view of it, because obviously it's a religious holiday, so the whole point of it is you do something hard, but in that time you're supposed to turn to God instead of that thing, and it's supposed to show in your heart what you really prioritize. And so I think a lot of the meaning is kind of lost on it, and I don't even know if I've kind of been super good about it, where it's more I focus more on the
cutting something out versus adding God in.
Yeah.
I definitely
literally
relate to that.
Yeah. And so it's yeah, it's just interesting, but I do feel better that I'm off my phone and I've gotten to do more things. This week, it's a chaotic week. I have, so many things to study for, and I have, scholarships due and stuff, but, I've had time where I can just, sit down and do the work and just, get it done, and, honestly, I've opened up so much more time, I think. I realize how much time is in a day, not to be, that
That's so real.
Not to be, that guy that's, I bring my
you have four days in a day.
I start my day at 6. Okay, that's the start of my first day. My it ends at 12. Okay, that's the end of my first day.
That's the first day.
The
second day.
I've warped time.
I've
warped time into 3 days.
Kick that over a month. I'm gonna kick your butt.
My week is now 21 days. I'm like, okay, dude.
I love those videos.
It kind of cracks me up because I'm like, dude.
We all have the same amount of time, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, like 16 hours, that's like so much time. Like that's, you have the majority of the day awake, and you don't even have to wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and be one of the grind set guys. You just have a lot of time. So
yeah, you really do. Even if you think of like school, like even for me, like I sleep almost 12 hours a day. I go to bed at like 8 or 9. I sleep until like 8, and because I have late start, and I have like 5 hours of school, and even then I still feel like I have infinity of time after school. Like even if I work for 3 hours usually after school, and I still feel like I have time because, and even like doing chores and homework and all that, like I feel like it doesn't take as much time as you think. Like when you sit down, like it's so much easier for me to like, oh, I need to do this, I'm just gonna do it now. I don't need to like procrastinate or anything.
Especially with like the phone, like being off your phone.
She's like, what else am I gonna do?
Yeah, because it's like, what else am I gonna do? And you free up so much time for the schoolwork and stuff, and then you get to actually do things you want to do. And that's such a weight off your chest too. Like
there's nothing done and not have it. Like even if it's something you choose, you're like, oh, I still want to get this done with and complete it.
Because there's like so many things you think you want to do because they're fun and you enjoy them, like your hobbies.
Like reading.
But then they become a chore because you're like, oh, I want to do this, and then it's like, when am I gonna fit time in that? Because I have to fit my phone in. Well, it's like, if you take your phone out, like we got the glass castle for our book project, and because it's due right before prom, I'm like, I don't want to like be reading it the week before and stuff because that's more stressful. So I'm like trying to space it out throughout the month, and I'm like, then even the schoolwork becomes easy, and I can actually enjoy the book because I'm not like stressed about reading it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something I noticed is like I always like make everything into a chore. Like I'm very ambitious in that I want to do a lot of things, and I get really inspired by a lot of things, but then I never follow through because it feels like a chore. And I feel like with this, it's like I feel like I'm also more aware of like, oh, this is gonna be a chore. Like, oh, if I'm gonna get this book or something, like I'm not gonna commit to reading it, so I'm just not gonna order it or not gonna read it because I know it's gonna be a chore. But I also feel like if I do decide to do something, it's like, oh, I'm actually excited about this. Especially like puzzles, like we've talked about. Like I also kind of like having one hobby. Like I mostly just do puzzles in my free time versus if you're like, oh, I could read or do this, and you kind of feel overwhelmed by what you're doing. But yeah, having like one go-to thing you turn to when you're bored. Like I had like 5 minutes before school that I was like, I don't want to be early to school and like sit in my car, so I'm just gonna work on this puzzle for 5 minutes. And then the time flew by like way faster than like if you were to like check your phone for a couple minutes. But yeah, I really like I just like being off my phone, like being able to be present. Also just like in conversations and like honestly everywhere. It's so much nicer to not be on your phone because I feel like when I'm talking to people, it's like I'm actually talking to them. And I also noticed like I was talking to people a lot more in class, like not in like a distracting them kind of way, but in like a, oh, I have like 2 minutes in math where I'm not really talking to anyone or doing anything or being on my phone. So like obviously I'm just gonna talk to the person behind me. And then I feel like I definitely grew in my relationships. Like my stable relationships, like the most important ones, grew a little bit, but I feel like my like the side pieces those relationships were strengthened too and like established.
It's like I also notice when people are on their phone whenever I'm talking to them more, which is like kind of like
so real.
It's like kind of a bad thing because I'm like, oh, they're on their phone, and it like kind of annoys you, but then you're like, oh, I don't want to be like that. So it's like, don't get mad at those people, just be like, have empathy and be like, oh, I don't want to make them feel that way. And then,
I weirdly feel like I'm more empathetic to people on their phones. Like I feel like there's always the mindset of like when your phone dies and then you're like, wait, all these people we're sheeple, we're screenagers. And I actually feel like now that I'm off my phone for a long period of time, it's like I don't really judge people for being on their phone, but I have this like this divine like, oh my gosh, I just want to like tell everyone like get off your phones. And I know like that's annoying to hear. Like even when I'm like, even before this, like you always hear like influencers or people being like, phones are evil, get off your phone, like all that stuff, and it's not very helpful. And so I don't want this to be like, oh, phones are bad, but I want to be like, just try giving up your phone for I would say it's easier for me, at least, to have, like, a set period of time, which is why Lent is nice. Like, I'm having really strict rules and regulations about when I'm on and off my phone, and that was really helpful for me. And I also feel like I stuck to it. I mean, there were a couple of times when, like, I'd check Instagram when I wasn't, when I was like, oh, I need to do this. But for the most part, I was pretty on track, and and it also is, like, a sense of accomplishment. Like, I really feel proud of what I've done.
You being off your phone also helps other people not want to be on your phone.
Exactly. Yeah. And I noticed, like, even when I was making conversation with people because I was off my phone, they would get off their phone to talk to me. And so it's like, well, then now they're off their phone. So it's like, it's very contagious, I think, if you're on or off your phone.
Also, like, honestly, get comfortable with, like, leaving your phone behind, I would say. Because if you go to places you won't need your phone, obviously having your phone is important sometimes because people are going to try and call you or something.
Yeah.
But if you're going somewhere, like, where you don't need your phone or you can just, like, put it in a bag and then, like, don't touch it, like, out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. So in those small moments where you're just sitting there bored, you're like, what do I do? And it's, like, right there, but, like, you're, like, don't see it, so maybe that's not the first thing you think of, or it's away from you so you can't turn to it. I think that's helpful, like, and just being also comfortable not being around your phone, because that anxiety a lot of people have when being around their phone can, like, also be attributed to, like, you need to be on your phone and you need the screen time, but, like, that's not okay, and you gotta be comfortable being away from your phone.
And even if your phone's up, like, I noticed, like, in AP Gov today, like, my phone was out. Usually it's, like, in my back pocket, but it was out because I was texting someone and I wanted to, like, message them back quickly. And I was like, wait, and I checked it, like, a bunch of times, and I, like, got like, emails, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna check this because my phone's out. And I was like, wait, I'm actually way more distracted. Even just having my phone out is just so much of a difference. But
yeah, because it's a bright, flashy screen. You, like, want to look at it.
And I also feel like one thing I realized is, like, how little, like, you kind of think of your phone as, like, you think of the bare necessities being, like, food, water, sleep, and then, like, your phone. Like, you think of, like, you need your phone to survive. Like, you need to communicate, find out information, text people, all this stuff. But then now I feel like it really changed my mindset of, like, I feel like I could go a day genuinely without my phone. Even though I have been using, like, the necessities, I feel like I realize how little my parents text me, or how little, like, there's probably 1 or 2 points in your life when you're gonna get a call from someone like, oh, there's an emergency going on, I need you right now. Like, that's very low likelihood of happening.
I feel like we should do just one day where we try and see how long we should go.
Plan a day and see how long we can go without
I feel like we would need to come up with, like, rules and stuff, though, because if we want to count, like, do we want to count, like, small text messages and stuff, like, or do we want to, like, count?
I think we should leave our phones at home. We should do that. We should, like, get a box or something for our phones, put them in there at, like, a spot where we can both go, like, I don't know, like a spot where we both could, like, easily access it, like, if we want to just drive somewhere and pick it up, and then see how many days, and then, like, the last person to pick it up is, like, the winner.
That would be,
but you don't know, and so you're both trying to last long. That'd be so fun.
That would be, like, a fun, like,
but also terrifying.
That'd be so sketchy. Well, because it's also, I think it's the whole thing where, like, you're, like, more comfortable with your phone because you technically own your phone right now.
That's true.
But, like, I would be more willing.
Well, we could have it at your house, like, in a box in your house, and then I could just. Whoa.
I'm just repeating what you're saying now.
Yeah.
But I think that would be just, like, a fun thing to do, because I, like, do really want to see, like, what going a full day without it would be, because then you kind of get into the routine of, like, oh, this is when I'm gonna have it at. I have thought about, I've really wanted to get a flip phone for a long time, which so during this phone fest I did get a new phone, but that was just because there was a deal with, like, my phone company that, like, offered me an upgrade. Okay, so now that Lent is almost over, do you think you'll change how you use your phone? Definitely. I think that I will. I don't know if I'm gonna have the same, like fear of getting on it, because the RO app always made me scared. I'm like, do not open my phone. I have to keep especially I remember anxiety. I remember at the very beginning I would be like, do not open my, like, the very first day I was like, don't open my phone. I'm trying to keep my streak up. But now I also think I'm, like, less stressed about being off my phone. Does that, like, and so it's like, like, the phone is more there to facilitate and, like, help me, so, like, it'll be there and I'll be on it, but I'm also gonna, like,
more of a tool.
I'm gonna leave more space open. I'm gonna hold space for other things that I want to do, you know, like this week, for instance, I've gotten so much done, and it's not like, I think going from spring break where it's not that I wasn't using the RO app at like all, and so I like was technically on my phone, but I was on it for like Google Maps and stuff like that, and so now it's kind of like maybe more chill. It's where it's like, oh, my phone can be there, maybe like doing schoolwork, I'm like, oh, I need to send myself an email or something, I'll do that, but then it's like I can put it down and have it just sit there, and then I can like actually focus on my stuff, and it's like and so it's like I'm less scared of it and less needy of it at the same time.
That's good. I feel like that's how you should perceive your phone, is like a tool. So like you can use it, but you also don't rely on it. And I think for me though, I think I'm gonna continue to, like, obviously I think it'll be a little bit less strict, but I think I'm gonna still do 15 minutes of social media a day, and that's it, because it was really nice. I just really like it. It's very sustainable. Like I could do it every day. Like I know that if I like let myself use social media as much as I want, then I'll probably go back to using it a lot. So I don't, and even like I feel like I've noticed a lot of changes like that are very sustainable for me, like a lot of little things. For example, I used to like play games whenever I was listening to something but not doing something. So it's like I'm listening to a podcast, or I'm listening to my teacher or something, and be like, oh, I'm gonna pull up Block Blast or whatever. And you're just like, I'm just gonna do something to keep my brain, like something visually stimulating. And now I never even think to play a game. Like I've never once thought like, oh, I wanna, like, even like at school I used to like play Tetris when I had free like on my Chromebook, like whenever I was bored. And now whenever I'm bored, I just kind of sit there. And it sounds like it's less productive, but I just feel like I'm more aware, and I no longer feel the urge to like play a game or like check social media or whatever. And I feel like, or even like texting and driving, like not saying I'm super bad at that, and I know texting and driving is terrible, but I wasn't really texting. It was more like changing the music or checking it, like just like checking to see if someone texted me, or like if you're at a red light, you're checking your phone or whatever. And I think I definitely noticed, like, I'm just, like, it's so easy to be off my phone, and I feel less, like, constantly craving stimulation. Like, I feel like that was a really big issue for me, and I always tried to, like, find solutions that were increasing my stimulation even more, but then I kind of forgot the fact that, like, if I'm overstimulated and I need more stimulation, maybe the solution is to program my brain to need less stimulation. And I feel like it was a lot more work, but I think it was really worth it, because now there's just like simple things that like I used to like be on my phone during, and now it's like, oh, I can easily be off my phone in a conversation, or, you know. Yeah,
definitely. I think like the social media thing, I think it's different for me because I'm 17 and you're 18. So
that's
Instagram
true.
Has this whole thing where it puts it like it like has a restriction on it for me. Like, does it do that like where it pops up and it's like, you've reached your screen time limit for the day, but it gives you the option to ignore it. So I'm like, that's so dumb, because like it's giving the impression of we want to protect our children's safety, but at the same time you can skip it. And so I'm like, it's like kind of like, but I think I want to
like time limit on Apple.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
I think I want to listen to that more, but it's so easy to be defiant and hit skip limit for today or ignore limit for today. But honestly, like, I think I do want to try and be off social media more, especially because like in apps like Instagram or TikTok, where it's just like that instant gratification, you it's like it's just one less fulfilling and also like more stimulating at the same time. But I think I've also started, I used to like watch YouTube, like especially like longer videos. Like I would be the kind of person that watches like hour-long videos, especially in the background of stuff, and they say...
Yeah, I would watch that at 2 times speed.
Yeah, no, like, well, they always say also you don't want to have like videos on while you're doing some stuff. So like when I do schoolwork, I try not to have videos on, or like I'll play like my vinyl records, which I think that's like helped. Like whenever I was packing for vacation, I'm like, this is boring, but I don't want to use my phone, so I played like a bunch of my vinyls, and I'm like, oh, that's so nice. But anyways, but like, so it's also moved me to longer form content, because I'm like
movies and
shows, like I watched a movie the other day, and I never watch movies like by myself. I watched 127 Hours, the one where the guy gets caught in the rock and cuts his arm off.
You watched that voluntarily?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Not to give a...
Like Ben Shark.
like to give a movie review, it's not as gruesome as you think. Like obviously it is really gruesome when he cuts his own arm off. We might have to cut this out, but
no, it won't.
But like the most of it is actually really well shot, because it's just him, and so they have to like be very creative with the cinematography to to like actually like show his emotions and like
and he can't like talk to someone because he's like
because it's like crazy if he's just talking to himself. Like sometimes he'll record like on the camera and stuff like the guy did in like real life. He'll be like, sorry mom, like because the guy in real life like recorded videos for his family, but like most of the time it's just him like chilling there. So I'm like, that's so interesting. But anywho, like I've been moving to longer form content because I'm just like less fulfilled honestly by that shorter form content now that I've been off my phone. I'm like, this is stupid and this is boring. Like I want to actually do something that like, you know. And
I did listen to a podcast on being off your phone, and it talked about how shorter form, like the impact of having, I don't want to say immoral as in like evil, but like immoral as in moralless content. If you're watching like short form videos of people doing mundane things or people talking about their skincare routine, it's like movies and TV shows usually have like morals to them, like, oh, you need to be a good person, like, oh, do the right thing, like care about what you do, and I don't know. There's so many values that are in TV shows and movies because especially like kids shows and stuff have a lot of moral attribute, like a lot of moral influence. And the podcast talked about how if you're watching something that doesn't have morals to it, like it trains kids like, oh, it doesn't matter what I do. And not to say like you need to ingrain to children's like be perfect and be good. It's like you want to encourage kids to be mindful of what they do and like make wise choices and be a good person, be nice. But like if your kid is watching like YouTube videos of people like pranking people, it's like that's not gonna ingrain like healthy moral. I'm not saying like your kid's gonna be evil, but like your kid's not gonna know like the importance of, which like not to say movies and TV shows are better at that or books even, but like you have that like moral premise to it.
Well, like, and I get the point where it's like, even watching a YouTube video, a lot of them have like a storyline or like a point they're trying to prove. They have like an arc and they have like the message they're trying to convey. And so when you watch short form content, you only get like a snippet of like really high emotion, but not a lot of information or like stuff like that. And it's just a little bit. But like watching a full YouTube video or like longer form content, you get like the full capacity of what someone's trying to say. You get like there's just more depth to it, but at the same time like you can kind of feel more fulfilled because you actually like come out of it with something more than just like, oh, a bunch of dopamine, okay, and on to the next video, oh, that's crazy, oh, next video, like. And
because there's a reason you get dopamine from doing like, you get dopamine from completing a task or from learning something or like from doing something that's good for you. And now it's like dopamine has been like hacked, and it's like now dopamine is exploited for money and for, attention. It's like, it's literally, the world is fighting for people's attentions these days. And it's not about like, oh, how can we, it's like the new form of money is attention. And I think you have to be aware of that and be like, how am I going to spend my money, quote unquote, or my attention? Like,
that's really
how
good.
am I going to, like, am I really going to give Instagram all my time and my energy and let them influence me with their ads and with their messaging and with their political content? Like, not saying
it's bad, but like it's definitely like if you watch a video about politics, one full scope video versus like one short little like snippet that's meant to make you angry, meant to make you react, it's meant to make you keep going, and kind of like they manipulate your emotions. And rather than like you can watch something political on YouTube where you can watch someone who maybe has a better understanding of the knowledge, depending on who you're watching, who is actually trying to give like a full encompassed view of like the topic. And obviously you have more choice, I too feel like, because the algorithm feeds you these high emotion videos, where on YouTube you can Google, like you can go to a person and see like what kind of videos they make, how biased are they, like what are the political views. You have more choice, I feel like, with longer form content than you do with the algorithm on places like Instagram.
I feel like the world remains the exact same, and yet for me I feel like people are nicer. I feel like people are more considerate. I feel more hopeful about the state of the world being off my phone. And even though that means I feel like, because my keyword for Lent was connected, and I really wanted to feel like I was connected to people and to myself and to God and all these things. And I don't think it was like the biggest change I think I experienced a lot of big changes in other ways, but I definitely noticed like I just feel like I experience things differently in a more positive way, and I'm less like trapped, and I feel like I'm less stuck and like addicted to
because
social media.
Yeah, because
being on
social
my
media
phone.
definitely wants you to be angry and stuff. But, like, it's kind of going back to, like, the airport thing. Like, you're going through the airport and everyone's so considerate. All of these different people from all these different walks of life are
It's literally everyone from all places.
Yeah, it's like a hub of, like, a bunch of so many different people, but they're all, like, supportive of you and understanding. And there's a lot of empathy there, and then you kind of realize, like, oh, the world is good if you can just, like, get up and look off your phone and, like, be engaged, because your phone wants you to be angry. It wants you to, like, comment angry things, and it wants you to keep scrolling, because, like, we want to be fueled, and we want our opinions vindicated. So then we won't see something that makes us angry, and we'll go and find them, and we'll, like, find the comments that are like, this is stupid, and then you'll be like, yes, like, upvote, like, but really the world isn't that bad.
It really isn't. So yeah, take this as your sign to
Get
be
off
off your phone, and whatever that means. Like, I think for me, it's really helpful to have like a strict rule, and even if it's simple, like if it's something you can stick to every day for like even 40 days or a month, whatever. I would encourage people to try find something they can stick to that will help them be off their phones. So
Yes.
is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, sounds good.
Bye, Bengals.
Bye, Bengals.